from your perspective, how were you as an employee? Did you feel like you were a good employee? I mean, just be
Yeah,
honest.
I mean, I did everything I was told. Never talked back. And I was actually learning how to do stuff on the job, which wasn't even part of my job. But I was actually learning how to further my career in that company.
Did you like your job?
Yeah, it was fun. I mean, I was like an errand shop runner, cleaner, you know, so I was kind of like low on the totem pole. I was the lowest on the totem pole. But I mean, the guys I worked with were great. We had a good time. We worked, but we still had fun. And I enjoyed my job. You know, so.
Yeah, looking back on that particular job, you know, is there anything that you think that you could have done differently, or that that may have, I mean, aside from your being late, that may have caused you to lose your job, or was it just, you know, something? Let's say they had like a, you know, it was like a criteria. You had, if you missed like 3 days or were late 3 days or whatever, it was just like an automatic fire no matter what. They had no control. Do you feel like they had no control, or do you think that they?
I mean, they gave me a decent amount of leniency, I guess, but I felt like I did a good job. Like I said, I was progressing. I was starting to do stuff that I wasn't even hired for.
Right.
You know, I wasn't hired to help work on a machine. I was hired to help get a tool and give it to them. I wasn't hired to paint equipment. I started painting equipment. So I was progressing. It was just that, I guess it just built up to the point where they didn't care. And that 2 hours just kind of did it in.
Tell me about your life. You just, in general, like you're growing up. Where did you start out? Where did you know, what kind of a situation were you in with your parents or whatever? Where, you know?
Okay. Well, I was born in Belleville, Claremont Hospital, and by the time I was 2, my father and mom got a divorce. They were young. So I basically lived with my mother. She worked a full-time job at a hospital, a well-known hospital. And so I saw my mom after work. During the day, I would basically be with my grandparents at the time. My grandfather would walk me to school, pick me up from school, take me out. You know, I'd basically spend my day after school with them until my mom got home from work. Basically like that till I was about 5. My mom started dating my stepfather. Then they moved in together when I was about, say, 8 or 9. It was, you know, it was at first he was alright, but I was always fighting with him because I always felt like he was trying to control me. He was trying to be like, you know, that whole stepfather, stepson thing. So that lasted a while. Actually, we didn't get along from like, I'd have to say from 8 till about 13. And no, 8 to 21, 8 to 23. We were just every once in a while at each other's throats, and it got bad to the point where my sister was born. I was 13, and my sister would cry, my mom would cry, because you know they were in the middle of this, you know, arguments and stuff. Never got physical.
It never got physical?
No, it never ever got physical. I mean, there was threats by him. Threats. I mean, at one point when I was 18, he did try to get my mother to push me into the army, like, get him out of here, get him in the army, I don't want to see him. But she never actually went for it. Thank God. But
now, what did this guy do for a living, and how did they meet?
Actually, my grandparents lived right next door to one of his buddies, where he was kind of like rooming, and they were in a band all together, and they would play music in the basement. So my mom, like, from being next door all the time, you know, met him, and then they just kind of started hanging out, and they started dating, but basically he's been in my life since I was 5. Now I just turned 30 January 16th. So
yeah, the camera.
Yeah.
Cool. Now, how about your real father? Do you still see him, or is he just out of the picture completely?
Actually, my father, actual father. When I was younger, the closer I lived to him, because I moved around a lot, the closer I lived to him, I saw him a lot. You know, I noticed the further distance. If I lived like 20 minutes away, I'd see him almost every day, every other day. It'd be cool. I moved about 45 minutes away. I went about twice a month. Lived about an hour away. I went about, maybe if I was lucky, once a year. I mean, he's not very, he tries to talk a lot to me. Like, he tries to preach to me that he wants good for me, because he doesn't want me to be the way he was. But he doesn't, that's like all he can do. You know what I'm saying? What? Like, I mean, he's helped me out a little bit here and there. He's the one that bought me this laptop for Christmas. You know, stuff like that. He's helped me here and there once in a while in the past. But he's never actually really been there for me since I moved like an hour away. You know, I mean, it was like pulling teeth. You know, trying to get him to see me, or trying to get, you know, ask him to talk to me, or have him make time for me.
Now, what did your father do for a living?
Actually, you know what? It's funny. I never really knew what my father did just till recently. My father never told me what he did for a living. He had tons of jobs, never told me. Right now, he works for like a telemarketing sales company. So he sells things over the phone all day. But oh, I'm sorry. He had a truck driving job. He told me that, and